Today we have the unboxing of the Jazzy Evo 614 power chair. It will come on a pallet with two boxes. You're going to have this big box here, which is your base, and then we're going to have this second box here. This is going to be your seat. I'm going to move the seat out of the way for now. We'll get to this later. But for now we have this big base. Like I said, this will be on a pallet. I've already removed the pallet to give myself more room to work. The first thing we're going to do is get a knife, and we're going to cut these straps that are holding it down. Whenever you're doing this, make sure you are cutting upward. You don't want to cut downward into your product and potentially damage it. Now we have the straps out of the way. There is, actually I can just pick this whole thing up. So I can take the whole top of the box off. Now we get a good look at the scooter inside. We have more packing material here. I can set to the side. We have on top our owner's manual. It's taped in, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the tape. Trying to not cut the Ziploc bag, so I'd rather cut the tape around it. So here's our owner's manual. And we can actually get a good look at the scooter, or at the power chair next. From here, I'm going to remove this plastic. You might have to cut some tape away as well. Again, just be careful you're not cutting into your product. Now we can really see the power chair from here. So you can see the batteries are currently exposed. I'm going to move this. Then underneath the chair, down here up front, we have our joystick and our charger. There's our charger. Is there anything back here? There's not. So there is shrouds that go on top. These are most likely going to be in your seat box. All that we have right here in this first box is the base with the batteries, charger, and owner's manual and joystick. So the Evo is sitting on two cardboard blocks. It's kind of hard to get out of here, so I would recommend a second person come and help you out. So we're just going to lift this, then move it to the side. Ready? Yep. Thank you. And then now I'm going to take a moment and clean up all of this packing material so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. So next I want to connect the batteries, but first I actually want to get the shrouds out of the seat box because we're going to do that immediately after connecting the batteries. So I'm going to go ahead and open the seat box. Again, with your knife, be very careful when cutting down. You don't want to slice into your seat. But it's pretty much sealed by tape. We open it up. And then right on top, here's our shrouds. So I'm going to set these to the side, and I'm going to push this back out of my way for now. And now we're going to install the batteries. So the next step is to connect the batteries. We have these cables here. You don't want to get these confused. You have two cables that are connected to the batteries, then two cables connected to the motors. You want to connect one battery to one motor. Don't connect the two batteries together. Your chair will not get any power. So one chair to one motor, or one battery to one motor, and then the other battery to the other motor. And if you want, we like to put some tape around these connections just to make sure they're secure. It's optional, it's just something we like to do. And then now we're going to put on the shroud. So now we're going to install the shrouds on this unit. We're going to start with the rear shroud, and then in a bag in your manual, you will actually get 4 little Phillips head screws. These screws screw into the inside of this shroud. They're actually going to go through these holes on this back cover here. So first we're going to take the back cover off to get better access to these. So I'm going to unscrew these 2 yellow knobs, and the back cover pops off. So you can see what we're going to do. We're going to take these screws, feed it through. Then it's going to go into our cover from the other side. I'm going to grab a Phillips screwdriver as I drop it. Push it through, Phillips screwdriver, then screw it into the cover, or screw it into the shroud through the cover. There's the first one. I'm going to do the second one on this side. Then those two are the easier ones. The bottom two ones, you can't really get a screwdriver in there very easily. There's this plastic plate in the way. So I'm actually going to use like a Phillips socket set so I can screw it in this way. If you have a small screwdriver or a Phillips drill bit or something, that'll help. But I'm just going to use that. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now we're going to put this rear cover back on. Make sure you line up these two yellow bolts. And we're just going to tighten it back up. Then once that is on, we're going to install this front shroud here. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to take these two screws out. We're going to need those a little bit later. These are some longer Phillips screws. Now we're going to take our front shroud. It looks like this. On the underside we have these two hooks. These two hooks go right in here. So it's going to hook in and then slide back. But first we're going to take our power cable and slide it through this hole. Slide it over the seat post. Then try to line up those hooks. Once they go in, we're going to kind of push down on the back as well. It should snap. I don't have the hooks in yet. There it goes. Now with those screws we took out earlier, they're going to go right here and here. Then there's some threading on the underside. You might have to move things around a little bit to get the threading to catch, but it does go in pretty easily. I'm going to do that side and then this side. See how you can maneuver the plastic a little bit? Then you want to tighten both of these up. And then we'll move on to the shrouds on our tires. In order to put the tire shrouds on, they just snap in just like that. You push them in. So now we're going to unpack the seat from the seat box. We opened it earlier from when we were getting the shrouds out, but I'm going to go through this. We have our arm brackets here. We have our headrests. We have our actual arm pads here. Then the final step is the actual seat. It should just lift out. Then I'm going to take a moment, clean up and unwrap some of this stuff, and we'll be right back. So now we have everything unwrapped. We have our base, our owner's manual, our joystick, we have our charger, two arms, two arm brackets, a headrest, and our seat. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually mount the seat. So in order to mount the seat, if you look under here, there's a post. That post actually sits right in that seat post there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come around from the side, and I would recommend two people for this, but if you have one, what you can do is kind of tilt it and you can see the post. And then just very carefully line it up. You can put it in at any angle, it will swivel. And it should drop in just like that. The seat back goes up and you have a handle on the right side where you can adjust it. And then next thing we're going to do is we're going to put on the arm brackets. Next we're going to install the arm brackets. They slide in the back of the seat like this. There is little pins you can put in to adjust, and there's holes threaded into these. You set these where you want them. Once they are in, you can tighten them with an Allen wrench. You are provided with the Allen wrench in your manual. I'm just using a set to get more torque. Then once that's in, we can grab our actual armrests. They'll also slide in here. And then you can tighten them whichever height you prefer. And then we're just going to tighten this little set screw on the outside. That takes the play out of the arms. You can also adjust these, the width out, and then just tighten it where you want it. You don't have to use the pin, but you can. There are holes threaded through there. You want to do the same thing to the other side. Next, we're going to put the headrest on. The headrest goes into the back here. There's a little latch you can push down, and it should slide in, and you can adjust whichever position you want. It has 3 different locking positions. So now we're going to install the joystick. That cable we had earlier plugs in right through here. It only goes one direction. We're going to slide this in to the arm, just like that. There's a little set screw on the bottom that we're just going to tighten. There we go. The joystick's not going to go anywhere. Then we're going to run this cable and we're going to zip tie it. I'm going to zip tie it right here, right along this arm, and then around the back just so it's out of the way. You don't want to zip tie it too tight. You still want to be able to swivel your seat. The new Evo 614s do have a swivel seat. So I would only secure it once here on the arm, once here, and maybe one spot right on the backhand right side. Leave the rest loose so that you can swivel your seat and it won't get caught. So now that we have the joystick installed, we're going to turn the power on. I have power, but I have a flashing red light, and if I try to drive the chair, it's not going to drive. That means you are most likely in neutral. In these chairs, we have a neutral lever up front. I'm going to turn the power off. Then these two yellow handles down here, we want to push them both down in a locked position. This engages your brakes. You need the brakes engaged in order to drive the chair. If you need to push the chair, you can push these up. This will disengage the brakes and you can push your chair. But we want the brakes engaged. Now when I turn the power on, I don't have a flashing red light and I can drive the chair normally. Now we also have a charger. In order to charge the chair, you have a charging port on the underside of your joystick, and then the charger just plugs into a wall. And this has been the unboxing of the Jazzy 614 Evo by Pride Mobility. If you like this unit, if you have any other questions, feel free to call us. Thank you for watching.
Hi, I'm Mark.
And my name is Alex. We're co-owners of Marc's Mobility.
I started this company in 1995.
We sell many products, not just what you see in this video. If you have any questions or concerns, please call us at the number below at 800-677-6293. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.